So with the Foundry, we're here now. Like I mentioned before, it's a full-featured MMO. So this is one of the persistent zones. This is Protector's Enclave. This is where your guildies will meet up at the bar up there and dance and have their e-weddings, that sort of thing. With the Foundry, we wanted accessibility to be really important, not only in how you approach getting into the tools, but how you consume that content. So there's a few ways that we have for you to get in and enjoy UGC. One, this is our work in progress landing page, where every time you log in, you'll have this pop up. It'll tell you what upcoming events there are, your guild message of the day, what your messages or auction status is, and you'll also notice that the Foundry is prominently featured here. We'll go through and select a bunch of missions saying, these are some really cool user-generated content pieces that you should try and play. And you can click on one, and it'll take you, after errors go away, it'll take you directly to the catalog, which is the all-encompassing list of UGC missions, which, with some advanced search tools, you can look for suggested level, minimum star rating, that sort of thing, right? But you can browse this content and, Fallen Empire, that looks like a good one, and accept it. And you'll notice that you now have a mission that will appear in your journal, just like any other cryptic mission. It'll appear in your mission tracker, all of your mission waypointing in terms of the mini-map, the larger map, as well as our golden path system. All of those waypoints just automatically work. These plug into the persistent world. Again, this is where everyone will be hanging out when we're actually live. And you notice that now this contact has a mission for me. When you're making missions, and I'll show you guys how to do this, you can go in and flag NPCs, objects as the mission givers for your user-generated content. So I could be running around in this world and my buddy is right next to me doing cryptic content. I'm doing this UGC mission. We team up and I can share that mission with him just like I would any other piece of content as well. So that's one way. If you're looking for a less sort of meta menu-y way to do it, you can kind of go into a tavern and approach the job board, and that'll take you to the same place. You can see what gigs are up, and you can accept and do everything you need to as well. If you want to come over to a Harper agent or a well-informed barmaid, you can also talk to them. And these guys will give you a subset of the UGC content that's really good for your area. So if you're in, say, like the Drow zone and you really just wanted to do more Drow content, it'll pull only the content that takes place in that part of the world for you. So that's a little bit about getting into the content. Let's take a look at editing. So one of the things that drives me crazy when I look at other UGC tools is it's usually a separate executable, or you have to find these files and put them in these different folder structures and figure out how everything works. You don't have to worry about that all with the Foundry. It's right here from the same executable, from the same launcher. You just go in and enter the Foundry, and you're right here. And I think I'll fill up on demo slots. Let me delete one of these. This is where you can insert some elevator music in your video. So we're going to make a demo called Elevator Music. You'll hear me mention this quite a few times throughout the course of this demo. There will always be a fast and easy way to do something. Again, trying to aim at that accessibility level. But a more complicated drill down depth way to get that complexity that a lot of custom modders want. So in terms of the accessibility, one of the things that we have that kind of prop that up is these little helpful indicators here. So anytime you have something that needs to be done to have a functioning mission, you'll get a little indicator kind of guiding you along that process. We also have the wizard down here that you can click on a specific task and it'll take you right to the part of the editor that you need to do to finish this. So changing location, this is what I was mentioning before with the barmaids. You can pick where you want it to take place. If you want the mines and the crags, then a barmaid around that area will do it. And this is also the map that will come up as players map transition from any of the different maps that we have into your UGC content. They'll pull up a map of the Sword Coast and say, oh, I want to go to that mine over there versus this town over here, whatever it may be. So we're going to do that. Say this is my mission rocks. So let's go into the story tab, and you can imagine making missions is really, really complicated. And what we tried to do is translate it to a way where you can think about how your players are going to experience this. So we'll start a mission that says, you talk to a guy in the persistent world. He tells you to go to his house. You kill some guys and go save his statue that he really cares about, something like that, right? So that's that flow that we want to have. So we'll start on a cryptic map. We'll say you're going to talk to a guy. then you're going to go to a different map, and you're going to kill some duders, and you're going to collect the thing. And all of that complicated mission logic that we pay people to figure out and do, our system is just going to do for us. So that's kind of the way that you can approach and think about it. And you can, again, there's complexity there if you want to come and make a couple concurrent tasks, or maybe, have this go really, really long and you have to reach a certain point and then transition to another map, whatever it may be. But just getting in there and doing something is really fast and easy. On this mission text field right here, you can say, talk to the guard. And that's what will actually show up in your mission tracker when the player is playing your mission. What do you want that guard to say? He's like, hey, go to my house. Right? That's the quick and easy way to have him say cool things in dialogue. If you want to get in more complex and tell this really rich story with NPCs going on elaborate discussions, you can go into the advanced dialogue editor. And this is exactly the same as the other editor. Really easy to drag and drop things in. These entry fields here are what the players will have options to select in the dialogue. So he's saying, hey, go to my house. If they press 1, it'll say yes. If they press 2, it'll say no. And this will actually result in failure, so that'll close the dialogue. You can imagine all sorts of crazy things that people will end up doing with this. Say, for example, that you wanted to do a complex dialogue puzzle. You can have this option loop back up to the top. Or you can have this option not be visible until a certain objective is complete in your mission. So you need to have a certain mission item until you talk to this person, right? All of that is there if you need it. If you want to just make a simple yes/no thing, you just click, drag, and you're done, right? That being said, this is a really powerful tool to visualize, but sometimes you just need to get in the game and talk it out. So we can go over and talk to a guy that resembles Red Skull maybe a little bit too much, and just step through your dialogue, make sure that there isn't anything that doesn't make sense or, what have you. But for right now, it looks totally fine. We'll return to the editor. So what did we do? What did we leave off? We had a guy. Oh, let's pick a guy. So who do we want to be our contact? Like I mentioned before, you can click any number of NPCs, objects, that sort of thing, and you basically pull up the maps of some of our persistence zones, and you say, do I want this young commoner over here, or this merchant? I think we were over in this area, so we'll take this nobleman, and he will be our quest giver. This is just a sampling of our maps, but as we keep adding more maps, we'll just keep flagging objects and people and different things that you can use as your gateway to your UGC mission. So now he's telling us to go to his house, and we need to actually make that map. So let's go do that after I make these tasks. So we're gonna go make a map. We can either navigate there manually on the Maps tab, or use our friendly wizard and find the map and go make it. So the fast and easy way to make a map, you can grab any number of our pre-made maps, and as we expand, we'll just continue to be making more here. But any number of sewer layouts, exterior layouts, that sort of stuff is what you'd find here. But we'll go into custom map editing because that's more flashy. So for me, this is one of the coolest things about the Foundry because it's most evocative of my pen and paper gameplay sessions, right? Like my GM says, you walk down the corridor, and then he just takes a tile set and puts it down on the ground, or he draws it on graph paper, So say we want to do that. We come over to the Rooms tab and browse all of these rooms. There's caves, crypts, and dungeons, and interior houses, and all that fun stuff. And you can actually come to this little editor and spin it around and say, oh, I like that room, what have you. You can use our filters to look for only specific sets, that sort of thing. But now I'll just drag over this house, and maybe there's a hallway that connects to it, and then a room. And then say I play tested and I didn't like it, we have a piece of tech called Doors Anywhere where you can just move this around. And you can see in the preview there's walls, but it'll actually bash down that wall and put a little doorway there, so you don't even have to worry about it. See, we were smart, we called it Doors Anywhere. See where that came from? So we're gonna finish up this little map because we should. And if you look at them, these are basically just shells of rooms. So we need to go in there and detail things. So we come over to the details pane. You notice that there's also traps, teleports, all these other things you can do. But this list is just huge. And as we continue to make more and more assets in the real game, they just immediately get ported over here. So we've got like body bags, books, braziers, candelabras, all this cool stuff, crypts, crypt pools, tons and tons of different things. And again, all of those filters are there for you to get in there and try stuff. But say you're not necessarily that artistically inclined, or you don't particularly care for this instance, you can just right-click this and say populate room. And that will drop down a preset, thematically appropriate set of detail objects. So now our empty house has a rug, a table, some potted plants, wooden barrels, that sort of things. You could do that all you want. But that doesn't mean you're locked into that preset either. Say you play test, you're like, I don't actually like this table. Let's get rid of that table. And I want a cypress tree to be in here like it's Christmas time. We're actually going to have a bunch of Christmas trees. Not that cypresses are Christmas trees, but anyways. But you can do that, right? And then you can take that as your base and go from there. So what else do we have to do on our map? We have to add in the guys that we're supposed to kill. So we will drop in some critters here. And what's really cool about these guys, we've created a bunch of standard templated groups. So if you're saying, I want my quest to have drow in them, you can come over here and look for drow, and you have a bunch of categories like melee, easy difficulty, mixed composition of hard difficulty. And one of the reasons why we did this is we're able to give out real rewards because we've standardized these templates on critters. So you can progress from level 1 to max level just doing other people's Foundry content, because you'll get rewards, you'll get XP, you'll get item, you'll get gold. It'll be really, really cool. So, but that doesn't mean you can't control cool things about them. So say you had that encounter, which I dropped a mixed kobold group of standard difficulty, which will then be leveled appropriately for whatever level you set your mission. I can drag this actor up over here, because he's going to be the vanguard, and this guy's over here, and this guy's a little lamer, so he's in the back. And say I wanted my mission to actually be about killing a named guy. You can overwrite this actor's name and have him Bad Dude Andy, right? And his default costume, Cryptic, it made our name in character creation, character customization. You see all that here. You can go through and just browse any number of these really, really awesome costumes and check them out. Our bad guy's gonna be a courtesan, maybe. But all of our filters work where you look for some drow people. I've looked up drow a lot lately. Let's do something else. Maybe some elf people. Yeah, that looks like a bad guy. So say you like that costume, but his hair really bugged you. You can actually hop to customize, and you get a more robust costume editor. And this is again where you get all of that cryptic magic, where you can kind of try them out with different helmets. And I like that hood, but we're going to change the trim on that and these arms. You're basically creating a costume that you can then save out and have in your library. So imagine you created a group of Red Guard outfits for your story. Then you can save that as a costume and apply that to any number of different critters and really make your story make sense and be good for you. This is what we showed you here, as complex as it is still not yet that full control mode that I was talking about. You can actually switch to advanced mode and pop up a warning saying, hey, you're about to go into some crazy stuff right now. But if you say yes, then you get full access to all of the crazy sliders. Right? And for the life of me, I cannot make anything good in this. But I've given this tool to my artists, and all of a sudden I came back and they had like this awesome rat creature thing, because they had put a little wolf head on him and strunk his arms down and all this crazy stuff. So for those who are motivated, those who want to, they can really make some cool stuff in here. So we're going to take this as our guy. He's going to be the bad guy. And he now has, that costume on them. And we'll drop an item in here that we're supposed to pick up. Okay, sweet. So let's go in and playtest this map. Just like the dialogue editor, we learned from developing our own games that you can have it be pretty and awesome in the editor, but you just have to play it to know what's going on. So at any point in the map, you can in your campaign creation process, you can say, I want to playtest this specific map, and we just drop you in there real fast. You can see our lovely populated room with a bunch of trees right in the middle, and you can see how effective just that pre-population was. It looks like a decent house. Here's our doors anywhere. Had I put the hallway connecting here, then there would have been a door there, and this would have been covered up. And those trees keep getting in my way. Even the rooms that I've done absolutely nothing to still look really good. We've tried to remove at least a lot of the difficulty to get at least a minimum bar of visual quality, right? These are textured, they have lighting. It's not anything this could totally work as part of the dungeon, and you've done nothing to it. You'll notice some dev commands over here. If you've done some complex conditional statements with visibility triggers, that sort of thing, you could just reset the map really quickly and try that over and over and over. Same with kill target. If you're not necessarily texting combat, you can just say, goodbye, I need to move forward. But you notice those were the kobolds that I placed. There's another kobold. And where's my good friend, Bad Dude Andy? And he's wearing his sweet little costume, his giant red, his silly hat. And I'm actually going to kill him. And you'll notice, again, my objective updated, my mission tracker updated. Now I have to get things. But all of that stuff just works. You don't have to worry about any of that. You're just thinking, okay, what do I want my players to do next? So the last thing about once you've made your mission, we want to support you and give you a platform for you to be recognized and be cool, right? So you'll notice as I'm browsing the catalog here, I quickly see who the author is. I see it here as well. And I can actually see more by the author, and I go straight to that author's blog page. Every author will have a blog page here where they can write updates and say, hey, I'm almost done with mission 3. Please hang on. It'll be released soon, that sort of thing. I could subscribe to that author so that anytime they update, I'll get an in-game mail saying, hey, check it out. I've got this new mission out. Please rate, do whatever you'd like, messaging. And I can also donate to that guy. So if there's like three authors that I really like, I'll grant them in-game currency as a, hey, thank you. That mission was really, really cool. An incentive for them to really get out there and be prolific. We've also, there'll be a set of DM rewards that for creating, for getting 5-star rated missions, for example, you might get a special border treatment on your name in the forums or something, like you're a level 3 DM, so here's a cool little reward for you. Sweet, so that's a little bit of the Foundry. Obviously, we rushed through so much, but you can imagine with time all of the other features that we could talk about or that your players will get into and mess around with.
Actually, I have a quick question.
Yeah?
Because you said you can basically progress through the game
Yeah.
entirely by UGC.
Yeah.
So how does getting items dictate? Like, can you set... Because obviously, like, I can say, I can set, like, the most powerful weapon for a drop. Or exactly
well, so you don't... that encounter template kind of format that we have helps us mitigate that, right? So you're placing down encounters that we know how tough they are, how much they should be dropping for a given level, and then that's how we are able to control the rewards there. We'll also have you'll also be able to get an end of mission reward that is dictated by the amount of time your mission takes, as well as what level you are, that sort of thing.
Okay, so the items aren't dictated by the
yeah, you won't be able to say, I'm putting a level 50 Vorpal sword on this level 1 goblin.
Okay,
have fun!
But on the inverse, will the system let you, you go super hard encounter, get to the end, and he drops like a rusty dagger?
Well, the super hard encounter doesn't have that in its drop table, right?
Well, and that's just what I mean. You can't, haha,
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. You can't be like, take that, player.
Okay, that's great. That's actually a great system.
Yeah.
And I like how you can give them credit for it.
Yeah.
Like, here's a monetary reward, in the system rather than, because there's so many, free-to-play games, stuff like that you're always worried about currency.
Yeah.
And you have to pay real money for it.
Yeah.
But in this terms, you can, in essence, make a business out of it in terms of what you want to need. Say you don't want to do your auctions.
Yeah.
Crank out missions and hope you make money that way.
Right.
It's a different level of the economy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
As far as like open beta or
nothing
okay.
officially announced
Nothing
yet.
official?
We'll do closed in 2012 for sure.
Okay. And will the Foundry be part of the closed beta? Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And, maybe not day and date with the first playtest, but I care about getting beta users in the Foundry to see what they could do and what problems they have. So it's certainly in my agenda to open that up.
Awesome. All right. Fantastic.
Thanks.